What is going on, everyone? Welcome into BP Insights. So let's get into it. So, talk about diet is so important to having success in the gym. I've noticed, if you notice a lot of people at the gym, if you look at people at the gym and their physiques don't change over time, it's got to be, you think in your head like something's off diet-wise. They're not doing something right as far as their diet is concerned. Because if you are hitting the gym really hard, if you're eating right, then you got to be making changes as far as getting leaner. I noticed cutting out sugar, cutting out fast food, not drinking alcohol. That plays a big part in helping you get lean. So that's I think alcohol, based on my experience with alcohol, I think it doesn't alcohol doesn't really prevent you from being able to gain mass and a lot of strength, but it does hinder your ability to really get shredded. I don't think it's hard to really get super lean and super defined when you're drinking alcohol, but I don't think it doesn't really hinder you a whole lot. I think unless you're drinking a ton, it doesn't really necessarily hinder you a whole lot from gaining a lot of mass. But yeah, I know I can understand why a lot of, like you say, the most guys like Mike Thurston, Connor Murphy when he was in his prime, none of those guys drank alcohol. I think it's really just because, it's hard to get super shredded when you're drinking alcohol a ton. It really just makes getting to that level of definition, getting that defined so much harder when you are drinking alcohol. But yeah, diet's big. I've kind of my diets went down to beef, eggs, no seasoning, on the beef, no sauce, and then fruit. So yeah, that's what I've kind of limited my diet to, and that's what I think. Those are all just natural. That's all just natural food. The body knows what to do with it. There's nothing added in. Apples, grapes, eggs with no seasoning, burger with no seasoning, sauce, bun, whatever. That's all natural food for the body. That's all food that the body knows what to do with. So my mind is just so much clearer. There's no brain fog. I feel my brain working at full capacity. There's nothing limited in my brain from thinking clearly. And that's the thing. Your anxiety just lowers by probably at least 50-60%. Like your anxiety is just cut in half from this diet. I mean, it's a complete game changer when you start eating not just healthy, but you eat foods that the body naturally needs and the body naturally knows what to do with. But yeah, I think diet. I think that's kind of what's crazy. I never understood is how people don't realize how important diet is. Diet is absolutely critical to building a really good physique, and diet's critical to to not getting the crash, not getting tired during the workday. Like you notice, I think this people kind of have understood this, but you notice if you eat a bunch of carbs at lunch, I think for me that used to wake me up for a few minutes, and then it is the crash happens. It hits you all at once, and you just feel super tired, and your brain is just and your stomach just feels it's like an uncomfortable full feeling. I noticed that with the meat on this basically meat fruit diet or the carnivore diet, when you get full, it's more of a satisfied full feeling. It's more like your stomach just feels, full. It's just satisfied though. It's not an uncomfortable full feeling where you feel, you feel like one move or you feel like if someone punched you in the stomach, you feel like you'd immediately just throw up. It's not that type of feeling. Yeah, you got to respect the guys that have the best natural physiques. Mike Thurston, Connor Murphy in his prime, Jesse James West. You got to. I think a natural physique is the most respected because people know how difficult it is to maintain that. It's not obviously if you're doing roids too. You can have a really respected natural physique, but it's just not. Everyone knows that steroids give you that. If you're on gear, roids, that give you really that extra advantage. I think a lot of guys on roids, you can really tell that they're on roids. It's that, the over exaggerated veins in the bicep, in the chest. I think those are really key indicators that a guy's on roids. But yeah, I think diet's so big. I got the idea to try different diets from Jordan Peterson. He had talked about remember on the episode of Joe Rogan, he had talked about all the issues he had had. He had all the issues he had had eating the normal American diet, and he talked about how he switched to like a meat and greens diet for modified, similar to the carnivore diet for, what do you say, about a year, and a lot of his symptoms dropped off, and then he just eventually switched to strictly carnivore diet, and that was the best for him. And I'm not sure why he still had issues with vegetables, but yeah, he had talked about stories about how when he kind of shifted away from the diet, he had some issues. Like he had he ate cider, and he had this overwhelming, impeding doom. And I'm thinking just like, that's what I worry about when I do, get this too strict in this diet. I worry if I try to eat, a bunch of carbs one day, like bread and fries and stuff, it worries if that's going to really have an effect on my body. But yeah, I think I think I'm not as big I think when everyone says people say you want to find a diet that works for you, I don't think that's as much as carnivore won't work for everyone. I think that's as much as people can find a diet that's very healthy for them, that with food that they mainly enjoy. Like for me, this diet's the best for me because I found I enjoy apples, grapes, bananas, burger patties, and scrambled egg. I found that those are my favorite foods, and those are the foods I can eat just about every meal. And those are the foods that I can eat about every meal that I enjoy the best as well. So I think that's what's more so about, that there's that you got to find a diet that works for you. It's more so about eating foods. Like say you just want to go on a grilled chicken, broccoli, rice, and I don't know, sweet potato diet. Like that diet, that's enough. That's a good mix of different foods right there that have varied nutrients that I could see working for someone. And that certainly could be a diet that could be sustainable for someone, and someone could absolutely love that diet. They say they're just a big fan of chicken. They prefer chicken over beef. They prefer broccoli as their vegetable, and maybe they are like, and they prefer like bananas or oranges or something. So I think that could certainly be a very sustainable diet for someone. So yeah, they talk about each person has a diet that works for them. I think that's what they're saying is find a diet, find the healthiest foods that you really like and that make you feel the best, and stick to that diet and just eat those foods with maybe a little bit of, cheat meals, or really a little bit of diverting from the diet once in a while. I think that's what people mean when they say find a diet that works for you. But yeah, I don't think it's any coincidence the carnivore diet's become so popular. I think it was Jordan Peterson, him and Joe Rogan really made that popular. I think his daughter made that popular. If she was talking about how her blog really got a lot of people interested in this diet. It's not, a lot of people became very intrigued, interested in this diet when they were reading Michaela Peterson, his daughter's blog. I think that opened a lot of people's eyes. Because you think about it, look at all, when I see people start to eat, not to be sound crazy, but a lot of times when I see people start to eat McDonald's or Wendy's, sometimes I start to panic. I'm just like, So I kind of can remember, it's not too far away. It was only about a little less than 2 years ago. I was eating that kind of a normal standard American diet. Now I was still ate pretty healthy, salad, stuff like that. I put a lot of ranch and stuff on the salad, but the thing is, I still would definitely have, some pizza, some fast food, some Burger King. I just remembered how bad that can make you feel, even if I ate a sub, with a lot of bread on it. I remember just, your brain just was not, remember how that affected the body. It was not ideal on the body. And, just switching to the diet that I'm on now that's worked best for me, just the lessened amount of anxiety is just a complete game changer. And that's the thing, everyone will say, when you do a diet like this for a long time, every day, people will say, may ask you, how do you stay this disciplined? Well, it's just like, do you want to go back to feeling like crap? Because I remember Joe Rogan talked about this in one episode. Is 15, 20 minutes of eating carbs, pasta, is that really worth the hours of feeling tired, feeling groggy, feeling uncomfortable, full? Is that the simple mouth pleasure worth the hours of just, the brain fog, the tiredness, the brain, you're not feeling as smart, not feeling as sharp, having struggled to finish work? Is that really worth it? Maybe to some people it is, but for me it wasn't. That's why it's helped me to stay disciplined. Because discipline's everything, man. I mean, you look at, people have discipline in a lot of areas of life, even if they are overweight, even if they do eat fast food frequently. Even those people do have discipline. They have discipline to go to work. They have discipline to take care of their kids. They have discipline to wash their car. They have discipline to put gas in their car. They have discipline to take care of their dogs, take their dogs on a walk. People have discipline in other areas of life. Why is diet the one that people tend to struggle with the most? I think Joe Rogan does kind of talk about it. People kind of divert from diet just because it's easier. You've had a long day at work. You see the Burger King, the Jack in the Box, the In-N-Out Burger, the Sonic, the drive-thru's open. It's just so convenient. It's convenient for a lot of people. So that's the thing. I think a lot of people just want kind of the easy fix. I feel tired. I feel hungry. I've had a long day. I want something quick. Burger King drive-thru, McDonald's drive-thru, Sonic drive-thru. It's all, it seems like those places not open as late, but a lot of times they are open. So people just want that quick fix. And Taco Bell, Sonic, Burger King, a lot of these places kind of solve that hunger, that need late at night. But yeah, Taco Bell really has no nutrients. I remember you talk about if you really want to feel crappy after eating at a place, it's Taco Bell. I think if you're hitting the gym hard, I think you're doing your body a complete disservice to eat at Taco Bell. I remember there's just no nutrients in Taco Bell. And I'm just like, yeah, there's just no key nutrients. It's not good for you. It's really just a poor choice to eat. Your body it's just stuff that's not supposed to go in your body. Whatever type horse meat, whatever type of meat it is, it's not what you're supposed to be eating. But I think it does shock me. I kind of just touched on this a little earlier. It does shock me how people just don't understand what healthy eating is anymore. I think that really just blows my mind. Like people just, I always thought it was kind of understood that grilled chicken, beef, like steak, burgers, eggs, fruits, vegetables, white rice. I thought people just always understood that those were like the healthiest foods for you. I thought people just kind of understood what healthy eating was. People still don't really get that. I don't know. People just must not have paid attention in health class in high school. So I remember I took health class in freshman year of high school, and a lot of this was hammered home. I know the food period doesn't always make sense because you have foods on the food pyramid you shouldn't really eat at all. Yeah, the doctor. It's too bad doctors were paid off. What was that, in the 80s, to make people believe that sugared cereals was the way to go. And like Brandon Carter talked in one video, why would you, if you're a grown man, why would you eat Fruit Loops? Like, even if Fruit Loops, I know Magic Spoon was actually a fairly healthy cereal. I tried a couple years ago. But that's the thing. Like, even if you knew Fruit Loops were even if they could make Fruit Loops that are sugar-free, as a man, why would you put Fruit Loops in your mouth? Why would you eat fruit? How can you be a grown man trying to raise a masculine kid? How could you be eating Fruit Loops? So yeah, Fruit Loops, sugared cereal, there's really no place for that stuff. Not for breakfast, not for lunch, not for dinner, not for fourth meal or whatever. So yeah, steak and eggs, even though I eat steak and eggs just about every day, not just for breakfast, I think steak and eggs is maybe the best meal to start your day, the best meal for breakfast. I know a lot of people aren't super in favor of breakfast, but I'm a big believer in breakfast. I think breakfast really gets me going. It gives me kind of that boost of energy that I need. So yeah, I actually didn't eat breakfast. Haven't eaten breakfast this morning, but I'll probably have something here shortly. It probably will be beef and eggs, because that's about all I eat. But sometimes I will just have like a banana or apple for breakfast, and then kind of wait a few hours to have beef and eggs. But yeah, it's funny how a lot of people think that the healthiest diet is chicken, broccoli, and rice. And there's nothing wrong with chicken, broccoli, and rice. I think that's because a lot of bodybuilders do mainly eat that. Like Ronnie Coleman was big into grilled chicken. I think for guys on a budget, I think chicken, broccoli, and rice is ideal. But yeah, it's just not. There's a lot of healthier foods. There's a lot of other foods out there to build muscle. Because I think I saw guys making a video, don't just eat chicken, broccoli, and rice. And I think what they're hitting at there's plenty of other foods that can give you the benefits that you need to build a lean, muscular physique. You can certainly eat steak, pork, natural bacon. There's plenty of other things. Fish, like salmon. Salmon's another really good food too. Sardines. There's plenty of other meat and food out there that can help you build muscle as well. It's not just chicken, broccoli, and rice. There's plenty of other foods that you can eat out there to help you build muscle. So let's talk about the gym. And so I've worked out. I haven't missed a day in probably 4 or 5 months at this point. Going back to the summer, I just have not missed a day to train. So going to the gym is just so important for a number of reasons. Number one, it builds discipline. Number two, it helps you with your day-to-day life. Getting stronger is the ultimate thing to give you that boost to make your day easier. That's what I've touched on here before. Getting stronger, getting in shape is really giving me that boost to attack my day. Now I work a 9 to 5. It feels like a breeze. Some days I'll get to like 2 o'clock and I'll be like, I only have a few hours left. I feel fine. Like I remember some days when I was eating a normal diet, I wasn't working out every day. I still was fairly strong, fairly in shape, but I noticed that the day just seemed to drain more out of me. Now I get through that 8-hour shift and I feel great. I feel like I can just keep going. So that's the thing. I love the discipline that going to the gym comes with, and I love the ability to go through a day and just feel great. Except I say that a couple of days ago, I remember I hit legs really hard. I hit legs for like an hour straight, and I went to work, and I was feeling a little bit tired. Now, I don't really get the sore, kind of rubbery feeling where your legs just are just super like achy and pain, but my legs did feel a little bit weak, and you could tell that there was a little bit of fatigue. It made me feel a little bit fatigued overall in my body just standing there all day. So that's the thing. It can really affect. That's the thing with lifting legs, especially. for a long period of time, and then you have to go do something afterwards. You have to stand on your feet at a job for hours. It can really make you tired in that sense. So I was a little bit drained. I was a little bit tired in that sense, but I was really happy that I got in that leg workout before work, because once you get in that, a lot of days getting in that workout before work, you just really feel like you can go to work feeling like you've at least accomplished something for that day. You feel a little bit better about yourself. You have that kind of that boost in dopamine, boost in testosterone. You kind of feel the the feel good hormones running through your body, and your body feels a little stronger, especially on days where you've done like an upper body pump. You just feel you feel better, you feel stronger, you feel like you could just you feel like you can just kind of cruise through the shift. And I didn't necessarily cruise through my shift, but I felt better that I at least had got up and did something. But that's the thing, a lot of times at the gym, you're not motivated to do your workout. So some days I've kind of just said, some days I kind of scratch my workout plan. Like I do have a set of workouts I can do Monday through Sunday. I did have a plan. Monday was chest and abs. Tuesday was all upper body, mostly biceps. Just about all biceps and a little lower chest. Wednesday was mostly legs and abs. Thursday was just pretty much all upper body, chest. Fridays, upper body again. Saturdays, legs and abs, and then Sunday was legs with a little tad bit of upper body. So that's kind of, but I found that, I kind of just started, that wasn't the most ideal, because that was like 7 different workouts, 5 sets of 10, and I noticed that I was kind of coasting for some of the reps. Like I kind of would just do a lower weight just to kind of coast, just to get the workout done faster so I didn't drag on. So what I've done to kind of trick myself is sometimes I'll just start, some days I'll just say to myself, I'm going to start on squat, and I'm just going to do one set. I'm going to do one set of 10 heavy. And I'm going to do another set, maybe not of 10, but heavy. And I just keep saying one more set. And eventually, sometimes I'll do 7, 8 sets, and I've tricked my body just to keep going, keep pushing. And my brain doesn't think, like sometimes your brain feels tired when you know you've done a lot of sets. I've kind of tricked my brain into thinking I've not really done as many sets. But I've noticed those days of the gym, I can only do maybe sometimes 5, 6 workouts, but I do a lot heavier set. I do a lot heavier. The sets are a lot heavier, and I tend to do just about as many reps. So, and it's sometimes it is, but not always a shorter duration. So that's kind of the way I can kind of trick my brain into thinking I'm doing more. So you got to kind of find tips and tricks like that for your workout. But yeah, it's funny how you go through periods. I was starting to kind of enjoy doing legs, doing upper body, not as much, but now I've really started to embrace doing upper body. I was starting to feel kind of injured, or having some issues with my tendons doing upper body. I noticed lower body, I've really started to kind of dread, like deadlift, squat. I've really started to hammer leg press. I know a lot of bodybuilders really just go to leg press. I've said this before. I think leg press is the most ideal lift in regards to safety, ability to go heavy, the muscle group at work, obviously working pretty much the whole legs. So I think in regards to the most beneficial lift with safety into consideration, I think leg press is probably the best lift. I know a lot of bodybuilders just do leg press as opposed to squat, just because you see Ronnie Coleman, the dangers of squatting. He really did a number on his back. Like his back is just not, as a wheelchair, he has crutches. People see Ronnie Coleman and they kind of, that really gives you an idea of what, squatting can do. It's really hard. When you're doing really heavy weights, it's hard to have really spot on form on squats. So I've noticed, but I think I've really tried to stress when I do squat, trying to keep my shoulders back is straight, just using the legs. When you bend down, your knees don't come over the front of your toes. So just hammering form, always having. I think so when you're doing squat, obviously you want to try to go heavier, but you want to just have form in the front of your mind. You want to just be thinking form primarily for the entire workout, so you can just really get a good workout in, hammer the muscle group. So that's what's so key about squat and having a good form. But yeah, deadlifts. A guy showed me some tips how to deadlift. Normally, you're just keeping my feet closer together. I know I have my right arm like this, and then my left arm like this, or left arm like this. Just so, I guess if you have it this way, you can pull that tendon out, and which was good advice for me because I was having issues with my tendon doing heavy dumbbell bench press. I was kind of worrying I was going to, severely pull or tear one of my tendons in my arm because I could feel them popping. I felt a pop in my wrist the other day when I was doing incline dumbbell press. So have some concern with that, but I think just, you just have to be careful. And when you're doing the heavier weight, your brain, you have to be utterly focused and ready. Like you can't, I noticed when I was too relaxed, like trying to just you pull the weight up, pull the weight up. If you're too nonchalant, relaxed about it, I noticed that's when you can really hurt yourself. So you kind of really have your brain, you have to just be locked in. You have to, even though you're going to get more tired, you have to use all your strength to pull it up. Otherwise, because if you don't, that's when the injury can happen. When you're nonchalant about pulling it up, you're thinking, that's a lot of torque, that's a lot of movement, it's a lot of weight on your wrist and your forearms if you're not being careful pulling that weight up. So that's just what you have to do to. You just have to be careful in that regard of just not being nonchalant when you're lifting the weight up. But yeah, I enjoy squatting. I think squatting, you feel like you're really getting a strong workout for the legs. You can really feel it in all parts of the legs. I like the leg machines. I feel like a lot of times when I'm on the leg machines, though, you do feel a little bit lazy, obviously, because with the leg machines, I feel like if you're not going heavier, sometimes it can just feel like you're just kind of going through the motions, if you will. So that's why I'm not like a huge proponent of the leg machines, but I do like the leg machines. And then calves. I've found myself disciplining myself to use the calf machines. Never been a big fan of working calves. I know some guys like doing it. It's just like my calves naturally when I was younger were better or looked a little bit more defined, not as much anymore. I think a lot of it's kind of posture. I think because my posture is a little off. When I walk, I'm not really, exerting a lot of, I'm not really, walking with where my calves are going to be worked a whole lot. So I think fixing your posture, I think, is big. But I think a lot of calves are genetic. A lot of dudes just genetically have calves where you can where they can really build muscle. So yeah, that's those are just kind of. So I think calves a lot of times are genetic, and calves are a lot of a muscle group that guys don't necessarily want to work, but they will just do it. But it is kind of a good working recovery, especially hitting the calf raise machine. Like especially because 2 days ago when I was hitting legs hard, I kind of wanted a change of pace. A workout that was a little easier. And seated calf machine is kind of a good change of pace workout. And like some guys talk about, it is like a good working recovery.